You are now listening to Effin Radio.
And welcome to F&B Radio. My name is Lindsay Collins and I am your host. It's a little bit of a high alert day around here. I'm actually recording the podcast early, which never happens, but we have a hurricane. This is one of the salty things about living in Charleston. There's so many sweet things about living in Charleston, but hurricanes are not one of them. Unless you really like hurricane parties, which in my youth I did. But now I'm kind of like, no thanks. I like air conditioning. That's what I like. I like air conditioning and a working stove. But if you find yourself in the position of not having either, whether you lose power during the hurricane or you're just trying to figure out how to prep, I wanted to release this early so you can still get to the grocery store and get some cool hurricane snacks. I personally am leaving Charleston, and I don't feel any guilt or weirdness or shame or anything around this because a lot of people, it's like very Charleston proud to stay. Everyone's like, I'm staying put, and I respect it. I normally would do that too, but it's just not always the point. Plus, I have parents that live in, upstate. So it's an easy thing. It's not like I'm going out and renting a hotel. Renting? Is that how? Why does that sound weird? Checking in to a hotel? Like, is there a thing where you're like, I'm getting a hotel? People just say getting, but it's not like renting. I mean, you do pay for it. It's kind of like renting. It's like renting a home, a super short-term rental. Anyway, I digress. The point is I have an easy place to stay. It's at my parents' and we're going to have Julian's party because he's turning 10. He's requested a cake that looks like an aircraft carrier. So I have my work cut out for me as I make fighter jets. I'm basically a contestant on that show. Is It Cake? Except, is it an aircraft carrier cake? So I have a lot of stuff to do. I cannot roll the dice on whether or not we have power on his birthday, which is Saturday. So please don't use that information to steal his identity or open up a credit card or anything like that. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, I feel disoriented because I have all this shit to do. We're packing, we're leaving town. And in the midst of it, I just posted what I had for breakfast, and it really was just what I was eating for breakfast because it was what sounded good. But as I was making it, I was like, oh man, this is the perfect hurricane breakfast. And really any type of meal when you're without power or you're kind of in a roughing it situation in your own home. Number one, get some tinned fish. You can get it from Stims and Skins. I know for a fact they're open today. I'm not sure for how long, but you can buy it retail there. You can buy it at Goat Sheep Cow. You can buy it at, honestly, Costco. You can buy it at World Market. You can get so much good tinned fish. I'm sure there's millions of other places that I'm forgetting where they retail it, but it's one of the best things that you can absolutely eat because it's perfect out of the can. It's delicious with just bread or crackers or something that doesn't need refrigeration, and tempered butter and salt. So none of this requires refrigeration. You can have an absolutely epic meal that's nutritious because tinned fish is really, really good for you. The oils, those omega-3 fatty acids, they're coming in to keep you strong during the hurricane. So tinned fish, torn bread, grass-fed butter, a little bit of salt. That's all you need. Like, just grab some, of those things, throw it in your cart. Something else that I like to do while I still have power is make a large confection. Sugar is one of the absolute best preservatives that's out there. It's sugar and salt rival each other. I think sugar actually is even more foolproof and it tastes better in large quantities. But if you make something that has a lot of sugar in it, like, I don't know, an apple pie, that thing is going to sit on your counter and it's not going to go bad. And you can eat it and feel some sort of happiness and sustained just off the counter. And it's a really, really delicious, fun way to like kill some time. It's apple season anyway. I use the recipe from Pies and Thighs because it is flawless and it is my favorite apple pie. I'm going to be making that when I go back to Williston with my sis. So I think that would be a really fun one to whip up while you still have power. Just get, 6 Granny Smith apples and Google Pies and Thighs. apple pie, and you'll be off to the races. Don't be intimidated by making a pie crust or buy one, but I would definitely make one because what else are you going to do? Everything from my dentist appointment to my work to, the coffee day, everything's been canceled. People just wipe this. Oh, creative mornings got canceled. Everything got canceled. I was like, I'm forgetting one big thing that got canceled. Thank you to everyone that got tickets. It's going to be postponed. So don't think that it's just going away. November 4th-ish. We're kind of still trying to figure out the details. But I think that's going to be when it's rescheduled. It's definitely going to be rescheduled sometime in November. So keep an eye out for that. And thank you all for grabbing a ticket. There were already like 98, 100 something tickets sold for free. They don't actually sell them, but you know what I mean? Claimed. So that's a very cool thing. And I'm super disappointed because it was going down tomorrow morning at 8:30. I was ready. I had my speech all ready. I was excited to see you guys. And I'll be just as excited to see you sometime in November. But yeah, everything's been canceled. So it's not like you have anything to do. You can at least make a pie crust or 3. You know what I'm saying? What else is great to eat in a hurricane? Here's some things that hang around. Dates. Dates are delicious and can be eaten with peanut butter, chocolate, sea salt, truffle honey, and it's a perfectly delicious snack. It tastes like a Snickers, honestly. If you want to put some peanuts on there, it really tastes like a Snickers. And none of that is, going to go bad. Obviously, sandwiches, like peanut butter and jelly, you can find, but I don't really see that as like an amazing, like, hurricane menu. I usually will put some sort of like big pot thing on the stove, but then there's always the epic question of how are you going to heat it up? I don't know. That part I don't really care about that much. I'm just like, I'm going to make the soup because it feels good and it kind of calms my nerves while I'm awaiting a hurricane, or in this case, I think it's a tropical storm at this point. So it'll probably just be rain. But yeah, soup, a minestrone would be amazing. An Italian, oh my God, with all the veggies, beans and zucchini and pancetta. I have a recipe for that. I'm going to share all of the links on my Instagram for stuff that I would be making during the hurricane, and I would encourage you to do as well. But another thing that's really cool to do is to go ahead and make some 7-minute eggs, or if you like them done longer, you can, boil them all the way. But boiled eggs are a great one, assuming that, you're not without refrigeration for days and days and days. Like if it goes past 2 or 3 days, I hope it's not going to get to that, but I wouldn't eat those eggs. Even though if I wasn't saying that like publicly, I would probably eat them. You know what I mean? Like I would probably, boiled egg feels pretty insulated. Feels like it can't be spoiled. There's no scientific proof there. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just telling you that I would eat them up to 3 days if I made a 7-minute egg. And then that's a breakfast. You know what I mean? You got breakfast right there, ready to go. Cured meats, another great one that requires refrigeration-ish. Doesn't need to be refrigerated, sure. But also, have you ever seen that leg of ham? Not lamb. Although you can make lamb charcuterie as well. But, the fancy ham that sits out on the counter, it stays out nonstop. It never gets refrigerated. It's a big leg that's been cured so long that it's absolutely impervious to any sort of rot. So those are always good to have around. You can throw those on a piece of bread. Get some fun condiments because that can be a way to really dress things up. Pickles, mustards of different types, all kinds of fun things like that. Olives, you can keep them sealed until you're ready to snack on them. And that's a fun way to enjoy your life and play some cards, light some candles and have some fun while you're waiting for the trees to fall on your house like I am. What else is on a hurricane menu? There's so many things, but yeah, those are my top kind of 5. The things that come to mind as soon as I know that it's going into that mode, I make some sort of cool confection that can just hang out. Usually it's an apple pie, especially because it's this time of year. And it's a beast. Like it's going to take you a while to eat an apple pie. Like if you live alone, you could probably just live off that. Like just make that and you can just slowly, ration out the apple pie for weeks and be all right. And be better than all right. You'll be doing great. Another thing you can do is go ahead and roast a chicken. And then, you've got chicken for sandwiches or chicken for a salad or whatever it might be. Lemons, limes, iced coffee. These are the things that I buy. I was in Whole Foods yesterday and I saw people buying the dumbest stuff. I was like, what are you buying? Like that, none of that applies. They were buying all kinds of frozen food. And I was like, I don't know, I guess I can see it because like you have a small window, but I'm like, if the power is out and you're now resorting to frozen food, how are you going to cook it? So it doesn't add up in my mind. I get why you would want something easy if you're just like stuck in your house, but you still have power. But I don't know, the amount of frozen pizzas that I saw getting dumped into cars, it was basically just pizzas and candy, candy is a great call. As I said, sugar, the ultimate preservative. Candy's not going bad. You can live on that and water. So maybe they're not dumb, but it didn't look very interesting to eat. I was like, you're going to get sick of those sour gummies pretty early on. And then you got a long road ahead. So that's why I would say grab 2 sourdough like loaves or whatever kind you like. Some of that grass-fed butter, a couple racks of tin fish, mix it up, get some pate, some sardines, some anchovy. Make yourself a bolognese if you want to get crazy. That can always apply. You can go ahead and put your pasta in it, or like, anything cold like that you can eat is great. Maybe those people, this just occurred to me, are going to go ahead and make all their frozen pizzas and then just eat them cold. Maybe they're smarter than me. Maybe when you see a large group of people all doing the same thing, you shouldn't question it. But I don't think so. I tend to fall on the other side, which is don't do that. Another thing I was going to make this weekend, but I'm really bummed because I have to make a giant cake instead. I'm going to make a giant Pop-Tart. I'm going to make that next week. But I had that on the docket. I had all of the stuff ready to make a sheet tray sized chocolate Pop-Tart. So that is something I'm super excited about. But it's going to have to get put on hold because I have too many confections this week. But yeah, the eggs are going to save you. The cured meats are going to save you. Some torn bread. Don't buy milk. That's just insane. That's just like, what are you going to do with, unless it's almond milk or one of those milks that just stays, in a carton on the shelf that you could pour onto cereal. That might be a cool idea, but not like cow's milk. Like, what are you going to do with that if you can't refrigerate it? Okay, so that's my hurricane crash course. And I feel like that's all I got time for today. I know I've been gypping you guys on the shorter episodes, but there's just a lot of shit going on. We're going to load up our car and try to not sit in traffic, which feels impossible. If you're staying here, I hope you're going to be safe. I hope my house is going to be safe. I trust that it will. That's like I told my kids, this house has been here since 1960. Who's going to stop it now? But maybe famous last words. I get a little superstitious around spooky season, around hurricane season. I just try not to tempt the evil eye with any sort of challenges. But I hope that your house is safe and everyone in it is safe. Let me know what snacks you're making for hurricane season. Obviously, if you got nothing but time, throw some Chex Mix in the mix. That's too many mixes. Chex Mix in the rotation. What else? Big thing of pimento cheese. Get some coolers ready so that you can transfer your shit as soon as the power does go out. Go ahead and ice all that down and try to buy yourself some time with whatever refrigerated stuff you do have. And stay hydrated. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I was going to go on a rant about a bunch of other things, but that just doesn't seem important now. What seems important now is that I start figuring out how I'm going to make a cake that looks like an aircraft carrier. I'll see you next week. Bye. Bye.